This game is brimming to burst with hilarious silly willies. It's made by the same devs as Graveyard Keeper, so it's unhinged. Can I punch my way to avenging the murder of my father? Will my side hustle as a masked superhero prove lucrative? Why can my cat talk? And why are there buffheads with animal masks plaguing the city? Welcome to 100 Days of Punch Club. I unwisely set the difficulty to hardcore. I do not know why. This ended up being a questionable choice. And then it began with my father training while telling me and my brother of our limitless potential. He instructed us to take care of our amulets of power. Cut to a rainy street and a red-eyed man in black.
I know that you'll never listen to me. Death is the only choice. They killed my dad. Don't cry, son. You have to be strong, stronger than me. Promise me you will train hard. This is like a Batman origin. And when the time comes, you have to be ready.
As I cried uncontrollably, this weird bloke told me my father had helped him, so he'd help look after me. Also, I have no idea where my brother went. Day one began and I was all grown up, snoozing on the couch. The phone rang and it was Frank, telling me to stop being lazy and to get to work.
Great, I left a newspaper on the table. There should be some job offers.
I ignored Frank's instructions and instead headed into the garage to demonstrate my impeccable push-up form.
I'm getting strength, agility, and stamina. Beautiful.
Except not for long, because I was hungry. I returned to the kitchen and opened the fridge, and settled on some frozen pizza for a nutritious breakfast. With my morning workout and feed sorted, I checked out the newspaper and claimed a job. And with that, a few menu options appeared on the left here. By the way, my resolution was set on a dodgy setting, which is why the menu looks janky. Don't worry, I'll fix it in just a minute. I had a quick look. There was character info, a list of fight leagues. I obviously hadn't joined any of these yet. A map of the city with various destinations. For now it had my home, the grocery store, and my new workplace. And there was an impressive looking fighting skill tree too. I sat down and watched TV for a bit, which restored my mood but used up hunger and energy, and it passed time too.
I think I'm wasting time. I'm wasting time.
I decided to head to work.
Okay, you can pay to get there or you can walk. Let's just walk. Oh gosh.
I was waylaid by two buffheads, and I don't reckon either of these dinguses has the body type for high land speed, so I doubt they would have caught me if I just legged it, but I foolishly did this.
No way. Let's fight. I've only got punch available. Oh, I've got some defensive abilities too.
As you can see, I was able to select two active skills, so I chose punch and dodge.
He's got high punch and a hit batsman. No, don't hit me.
He also had the berserker perk, and as you can see, more than double my health, so I had a feeling I was in for a tough time against Big Bo. I hit the big red fight button, and so began round one. I wasn't expecting this, but the combat was an auto battle, so once I'd chosen my loadout and hit fight, all I could do was watch. Watch as the big fella whacked my head over and over with his baseball bat.
My rewards are minus 12 hearts. Okay, that's a bad start. I should train harder. Yeah, guess so.
This old fella came out of nowhere to tell me he thought the fight was impressive. And it is true. Me getting hit in the head with a chunk of wood is quite impressive.
They used to call me legs at high school. Hey, you have really strong legs. Thank you. Wait, what the heck?
So my dialogue choice resulted in a perk being granted to me. Strong legs. Seems good. And he also asked me to visit Apu at the grocery store. I walked over to Mick's office, where I admired his rather large collection of trophies. He told me he could make me a champion, and instructed me to go to Silver's gym and join the amateur fight league. Because if I proved my worth there, Mick would train me. He also said he'd feed me if I got low on cash. I headed straight to Silver's gym. Silver was surprised Mick had sent me, as he thought Mick didn't care about boxing anymore. But he agreed to let me use his gym and join his rookie fight league. Silver also invited me to spar with him. I agreed, but he seemed to have slightly higher stats than me.
I mean, obviously I'm gonna lose though, right?
I did manage to survive one round though, and I discovered I could change my skill setup between rounds, but I didn't exactly have many skills to choose from, so I went straight in for round two. And after round two, I decided to switch out dodge and use block instead, as if that would magically help. Silver somehow failed to knock me out, but at the end of 3 rounds, the fight concluded, and I was the decisive loser. I spoke to Silver again, and saw I could do hand pads training for $15, so I figured why not. This was a bad idea, because all I did was punch the pads and do literally 0 damage before being informed I had lost.
I just spent $15 to do nothing?
At this point, I changed the resolution of the game so it wasn't bugged out anymore, for which I'm sure you'll be grateful, and I wandered over to finally do some work. Work on the construction site makes you hungry. It lowers your mood and it uses up energy, but it does train your strength and stamina a little. And of course, when you fill the green bar, it earns you $50. As I jackhammered away, time passed rather quickly, and soon it was the end of day one. And before we get into day two, I just gotta kick the crap out of this crab real quick. Yes indeed, big thanks to today's sponsor, No Rest for the Wicked, available now in early access on PC, at an intro price of $53.96 Australian dollars or $35.99 USD. Here's why you should get it before the price goes up. Firstly, it's beautiful. Look at this. The devs at Moon Studios who made this also made the critically acclaimed Ori games. I remember when those came out and the art caught my eye. I was impressed. Now they're tackling the action RPG genre, and it's a darker and grittier vibe, but the painterly art style is undeniably gorgeous. You might not expect this from an ARPG, but it's got tactical, methodical, crunchy combat. We're talking precision-based, animation-driven fights, where strategy, timing, and player skill is key. Think Souls-like vibes. It features an epic, handcrafted world with a dark, mature narrative and an immersive atmosphere, as an ancient plague sweeps across the land, turning its inhabitants into monstrous versions of themselves. The city of Sacrament is your hub.
You'll never make it to Sacrament from here.
And you can purchase a house, you can craft, you can fish, you can farm, and you can interior design. So after chopping some nerd's head off out in the wild, you can head home and choose where to hang your paintings. The game has a roadmap, with the first update allowing for multiplayer capability, along with additional content and features. So buying the game at the introductory early access price could be a stroke of genius. And players who purchase No Rest for the Wicked in early access will receive the Serum Armor Set. To learn more about No Rest for the Wicked, check out my link below. Okay friends, back to Punch Club. As day 2 dawned, I continued working, but stopped just shy of earning my second $50 as I got too hungry. The walk home from work took 3 hours, but I decided I'd rather use up the time than part with a whopping $6 to take the bus. Once home, I ate another pizza and chugged a soda, and since my energy was down to 20%, I figured I better have a rest.
I don't think I'm playing this game very well. I just slept like all the day too, and I'm hungry.
I attempted to do some push-ups.
I'm too hungry to do push-ups?
At this point, I developed a paranoia that I was wasting too much time, so I opted to spend $4 to take the bus to Mick's, which saved a couple of hours, and I asked the old fella for a feed. But Mick somehow knew that I had money, so he refused to feed me. So I paid $2 to bus it to the grocery store.
Hello, Apu.
I told this Simpsons reference of a human to hurry up with Mick's delivery, and I checked out what he had for sale.
What's the most efficiency for money? That's 2 hunger for every dollar?
Despite being the most expensive item available, meat was definitely the most cost-effective option for filling my belly, with frozen pizza coming in a close second. I bought 3 meat for $20 a pop, and took a bus home to eat said meat. 2 chunks of meat pretty much filled me up.
Nice. And then we're gonna do some push-ups? I don't really know what the hell's going on, man, but we're just gonna try and make this work.
I pumped out them one-handed push-ups for the rest of the day.
It looks like you lose 9 strength, 9 agility, and 9 stamina every day, so you gotta offset that by training.
Yes indeed, at the end of each day you actually lose stat points, so it's a balancing act to keep in fighting form. I continued doing push-ups until I grew tired of it, because apparently you can only do so much of the one exercise. But slamming them push-ups had certainly boosted all 3 stats considerably. I ate my last bit of meat, and considering I was broke, I decided to walk to work and get hammering that jack. Fortunately, the progress bar from my last shift was not reset, so I earned a quick 50, and then hung around and earned yet another 50. I then caught a bus to Apu's and bought more meat.
There's a dude rocking out here. I approve of that.
And I headed home to sleep.
Watch some TV for some more happiness. TV just gives you happiness. It's very true.
With the arrival of day 4, I worked out I was able to sign up for the Rookie League from the menu over here. So I signed up for my first fight in 2 days before spending the rest of the day doing push-ups. Training seemed to barely take energy, but it did make me hungry. So I ate some more meat before paying to enter the gym at Silver's.
I mean, let's try some of these ones. So this is strength training. This is strength and stamina.
The treadmill trained exclusively stamina, and the punching bag trained strength, agility, and stamina.
This seems pretty effective. I don't know if I should be specializing.
I rounded out my gym session with some bench presses, which trained pure strength. I knew I had my first Rookie League fight tomorrow, so just before day 5 finished, I headed home to eat.
We got some crazy training done. Oh, I don't remember this thing being here before. Meow. I got a cat?
A weird suitcase had appeared in my house.
I found a strange suitcase. How did it even get here? True. What the hell? It's doing something green over the whole city? Nope, I don't understand it at all.
I ate the 2 remaining meat to satiate my hunger, slept for a bit to top up my energy, and entered my first Rookie League fight.
I actually have better stats than this guy. I can take this guy. Agility increases your accuracy and chance to avoid attacks. Stamina increases your energy regen, also increases your damage absorption, increases the damage your hits.
Since my stamina and strength were higher, I figured I'd be better at blocking than dodging, so I chose punch and block as my active skills and began the fight. I did a little more damage than him in round 1, but I seemed to be using more energy.
I think I stick to the same plan. This is fine. I am using way more energy. Is that just because I have 3 strength? Why am I using so much more energy?
I tried swapping out block in favor of dodge, hoping it would use less energy, but I'm pretty sure it actually used more. And though I appeared to be in control of the fight, once your energy hits 0, you get knocked down for big damage, and that is exactly what happened to me. It wasn't looking great.
Maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. Switch to dodge and block to get my energy back. If I just dodge and block for a round, no, I'm not really getting much energy back. No! This was a terrible plan.
I brought back the punch and block loadout for round 5, but there was no solving my energy deficit, and I ran out over and over again, suffering 2 more knockdowns, and another in round 6, and a final one in round 7.
I'm about to get KO'd. No! Oh, I got a skill point. Can now see more details about fighting skills. Do I get kick? I think I'm gonna get tactics learner first.
Unlocking tactics learner allowed me to see how the damage, accuracy, and energy use of my skills was calculated based on my stats. And it turns out that thanks to my 3 strength, all of my skills had indeed cost more energy during that fight. My punch also did more damage, but it seemed like the trade-off between energy use and damage hadn't been worth it.
Alright, next fight in 3 days. I guess I get back to work, huh?
I worked the rest of day 6 and almost the entirety of day 7, earning a cheeky $150 in exchange for all that time. I headed to the grocery store to spend my earnings.
Some dingus is robbing Apu.
I of course opted to fight the rude bloke because that's what I do. His name was Rob, which is funny because he's a robber. And
oh dear, I'm screwed. He's got so much agility.
I learned a little bit more about how my stats work. Your armor is 1.3 times your stamina stat, your energy regen is 1.5 times your stamina plus 5, and your accuracy is 3 times your agility divided by your strength, agility, and stamina. Despite Rob's agility build, the fight was somehow close. In fact, I seemed to be in the lead.
I'm really invested in this fight, bro. I'm literally doing nothing except press fight. I'm just pressing a red button, but I'm so invested. Oh no, he's pulling out some big hits. Come on, man. No, what's going on?
For some reason, Rob absolutely popped off in round 8 and 9, suddenly dealing way more damage, and in round 10, it was all over.
What happened? I did prevent the crime though, apparently, so good stuff. He'll come back again. That's right, I'll beat him next time.
Apu told me his friend Casey needed help at his restaurant, and I spent $120 buying meat before heading to the cafe to meet the bloke.
This is from Pulp Fiction. Vincent Jules, love it.
Casey offered me a job delivering pizza, which I got working at immediately. This seemed to lower my energy and mood slower than the construction job, but it didn't earn me strength or stamina, and obviously it didn't earn me as much money. I didn't last long in any case because I soon ran out of energy. When I returned home, the weird suitcase had gone crazy, so I tried to turn it off.
It wants me to go to Apu's?
I did as the suitcase commanded and headed to Apu's, where I found a bunch of cat food had been stolen.
Robbed by some bandits in animal masks. Okay, so the suitcase told me there was something happening here somehow?
Back at home, I received another phone call from Frank, who'd left his old fighting guide on my table. I gave it a read and learned that I shouldn't try to raise all 3 stats. It was much more effective to choose one to specialize in. After looking through the options, I decided I'd go for agility and pursue the way of the tiger. I poked my fish tank for a bit before eating some meat and snoozing the day away. Day 9 rolled around. Fight day again already. It was still early in the day though, so I figured I'd hit the gym and level my stats as much as possible before the end of the day. I worked out slapping this little ball trains exclusively agility, so I got busy doing that.
Don't think I'm gonna get agility higher than 3 today, so let's try to get stamina up to 3 too.
I did exactly that, and then it was time to fight.
I'm versing Song Mo again, and he's weaker than he was before. That's great.
Finally, it was my time to shine. They'd given me an opponent with garbage stats, probably because the game pitied my 0-5 fight record.
Yeah, we got the win here, baby. We got the win here.
I was dealing more damage than him, I wasn't running low on energy, and in round 4...
Eat some canvas, bro. There we go. We got our first win. Yes. It's beautiful. I got 3 skill points from that. Yes. Got moved up the league.
I signed up for another fight in 3 days' time and then got busy spending my skill points. I opted to grab High Kick because it has relatively high damage without relying on strength, and low base accuracy that would be boosted greatly by my agility.
1 additional ability slot. Okay, we'll go for that next, I think. Alright, this is fine. We got the High Kick.
I spent 24 hours looking after my beautiful body, and then it was back to the gym.
Get on the little slappy ball, you know, slap the little testicle.
I slapped the ball until I could slap no more. I killed some time getting my stamina up to 3. I slapped the ball some more, but grew tired of it again, just shy of reaching for agility. So I got the last sliver of agility I needed by punching the bag. I still had time and energy, so I decided to try and get my stamina up to 4 too. I ran my heart out, but soon grew tired of that. And once again, the punching bag came in clutch to get me over the line. And then it was time.
Hexor Lamcho. I got way more armor. I got way better energy regen. I've got better accuracy. Surely I can smoke this nerd.
For round 1, I used punch and high kick, boldly choosing to run without any defensive defensive skills, and it was a bad idea. I absorbed 20 damage and only dealt 8. So I swapped out high kick for block. I chose block over dodge because block uses less energy. Round 2 went a bit better.
Okay, this is a bit better. I think oh my gosh, I just got a massive combo. Oh, he got a massive combo too.
Rounds 3 and 4 were more even, until finally in round 6 I got the knockdown, and in round 7,
Get him, yes! Victory!
that win earned me a juicy 5 skill points, which I immediately used to grab Do Not Fall Down, which meant my agility would no longer fall below 4 from the daily loss of stats.
Alright, let's get... Oh, I can't afford one extra skill now. That may have been a mistake. I thought I was going to be able to get both, but this became more expensive.
And so I was unable to grab the extra active skill, which was indeed a bummer. I headed straight back to work, as I figured I might as well do the exact same preparation for my next fight, earn some money, snooze up a storm, eat delicious meat, and train as much as possible. This time I managed to get my agility up to 5 and my stamina up to 4. And since I still had time and energy, I decided to get my strength up to 3 as well.
I don't know about this one, man. This one's going to be hard. Bob Dredson with the dreadies.
As I compared our stats, I made a realization. Getting my strength to 3 had barely improved my damage numbers, while fairly significantly increasing my energy costs, which was not ideal. In round 1, I used punch as it had a lower energy cost, but I barely did any damage, so in round 2, I subbed in the high kick.
Maybe I should have had more belief in my high kick. My high kick is popping off? What the heck? But I'm using all my energy. I have no energy.
And so my high kick was fairly accurate thanks to my 5 agility, but it drained my energy in no time because of my 3 strength. Since high kick has pretty high base damage without relying on strength, I really shouldn't have leveled my strength up to 3, as it had clearly proven more of a detriment than a benefit. After that loss, Silver decided to hurl abuse at me.
You're not really progressing as well as you should be. How dare you? How do you feel about getting more buff without training?
Silver told me to visit his quote-unquote potion vendor friend at the sports equipment store. I earned 1 skill point for that loss, and I ended up deciding to avoid unlocking another active skill, as I worried it would just cause me more energy problems. I instead unlocked backhand high punch, which is a more powerful punch with agility-dependent accuracy. I busted over to the sporting goods store, where I made the acquaintance of this distinguished gentleman who makes potions.
You mix them up in your basement? I look like I'm brave enough to try it.
He warned me there were some side effects, but the reality is I am indeed stupid enough to try a weird man's weird potions. The blue potions temporarily increase your agility.
Oh, I guess I better try a blue potion.
The buff from this delicious liquid only lasted 2 days, and my next fight was in 3, so yep, there is some proof that I am stupid.
I shouldn't have done it now. I didn't realize I was going to consume it instantly.
The sporting goods store had some very useful stock, a range of training equipment for my garage. They all cost $150 or more though, so I was going to have to deliver a lot of pizzas. I walked home and the green briefcase was at it again. It sent me straight back to the sporting goods store to chat with the questionable bald man once again, because apparently he was sad.
Somebody stole your laser?
His mum saw the thieves were wearing animal masks.
Animal mask guys are getting all around the place, huh?
I promised the roids dealer I would try to rescue his laser. I worked well into the following day, earning $90 total before returning home for a sleep, and to Arpoo's for a meat spending spree. When I got home again, I experienced a side effect of the blue potion. My cat was talking to me.
The cat just said feed me. Seems that I should go easy on the steroids.
And on day 17, I hit up the gym. As I arrived, this massive guy asked me for help.
What do you want, big fella?
I gave him a friendly spot, heroically saving his life when his arms turned to jelly. He then told me about a dodgy place across the river where underground ultimate fights are fought. He said if I wanted to earn some money, I should check it out. He also gave me a warning.
You can receive serious injuries during these fights.
While training, my blue potion bonus dropped off, knocking my agility back down to pre-steroids levels, so that was officially a huge waste of $40, as reflected in the end of day summary.
I lost $350.
I finished my training with 2 strength, 5 agility, and 4 stamina. I headed home to eat, and since it was still early on fight day, I had some time at my disposal, so I concocted a plan. I put in a couple of shifts, delivering cheesy discs, and wandered over to the sporting goods store.
Give me some more roids. Give me some more blue roids.
And with that, I had legally and ethically raised my agility up to 7, and I was fight ready.
Hexor Lamacho, you're doomed.
I decided to use backhand high punch, which cost 5 energy compared to the high kick's 3, but dealt 7 damage compared to the high kick's 5. The high punch is also more accurate, so I figured on balance it was the better choice.
Yeah, big damage. Big damage. And he's losing energy faster than me. Okay, easy. Don't even worry about it.
I took the win in round 2.
An easy win. That's what the roids get you every time.
After that fight, this fella Roy congratulated me and insisted I come join him for a drink at the bar. After 2 or maybe 5 beers, I went to get some fresh air. This guy Brad Pitt started going on about the benefits of self-destruction, which struck me as rather wise, and he challenged me to win 5 street fights. And so I entered a street fight against some guy. I still had my blue potion buff, and of course this was just some guy, so I pulled out the win, earning another 4 skill points. rice. I skilled up Rice Eater, which increases the speed at which the agility stat is trained by 15%. I then tried to fight another street hooligan, but Tyler said I needed to rest before I could get in another brawl. I paid a visit to the warehouse my gym buddy had mentioned.
Can I do some dodgy shenanigans here?
This gentleman invited me to join the Ultimate League, and a fight was ready and waiting for me, so I figured why not. But when Big Fred Getley showed up, I was a little worried.
I didn't know how strong he would be. Fred Getley's huge. He's got more armor and more energy regen, but he's got way less accuracy, so both his skills are pretty inaccurate, so we might have a chance purely on accuracy here.
Fred whipped out some juicy combos on me, and it was looking dicey. But even though he had higher energy regen, he clearly had higher energy consumption too, because he gassed out pretty quickly, providing me a window into the fight. 2 more knockdowns in round 2 evened up the fight, and another 2 in the 3rd round sealed my victory.
Big dodges. Yes. Come on, baby. Yes. Oh, clutched it. 2 more skill points. $40. Oh, there's a weirdo watching me. That's the guy that killed my parents. That's the guy in Graveyard Keeper as well, I swear.
Mr. Redeye hosts an elite tournament on his island, but he only invites champions. So I figured I'd better get busy becoming a champion. And I'd somehow won 3 fights on this day 18, so that felt like a decent start. I bought some meat and got to work. I slept, I ate, and I worked some more, before ball slapping and treadmill running on day 20. Day 21 was fight day, and all my preparation plus some illicit blue juice got me just shy of 8 agility. So I went to the cafe and managed to afford a pizza to curb my hunger, and I went home to do some push-ups, but I was once again interrupted by the weird briefcase. Just like last time, it pointed me in the direction of a crime. Some animal mask vagabonds had stolen cardboard boxes from the warehouse. Combining the suitcase's ability to detect crimes and my incredible fighting skills, it was clear what had to happen.
Time to punch criminals right in their faces. This basically is a Batman story. I'm the Dark Fist.
I managed to push up my way to 8 agility before the end of the day.
My stats are way better than this guy's, so let's just smoke him. Roy Jackson. Isn't this my friend?
Yes, that is my new mate Roy that took me for beers the other night, and no, I did not smoke him. His strength build let loose some big damage, and I think my biggest mistake was continuing to use block instead of dodge, because block is improved by strength while dodge is improved by agility, which makes sense, but the tooltips don't explain this, so I continued using block because it costs less energy.
I'm gonna fall first? Bro, how did I fall first? What?
I at least earned 1 skill point, so I was finally able to unlock that extra active skill. I jumped into an Ultimate League fight too, and learned that my health in the overworld affects my health in fights, which again makes perfect sense. Losing to Big Roy Jackson had reduced my health by 60, so I had significantly lower health for this fight. Whoops. I was again paranoid about energy consumption, so I continued using block and added punch to my skills using the 3rd skill slot I'd just unlocked. The fight was going okay, but my energy conservation strategy didn't really work. Yes, using high punch instead of high kick used less energy, but it also did crap damage. So I had to punch way more times to have the same impact, making me use more energy. This punch club business was proving to be rather nuanced. Fortunately, I just scraped through, earning the win. I used my $40 fight prize to buy some meat and put in a shift delivering flat calzones until I was completely exhausted, at which point I returned home to have some more steroid-induced conversation with my cat. Apparently, it was wondering about the meaning of life. I said, my purpose is to get buff and avenge my father. Fight day for both leagues rolled around once again, and at this point the only side effect of the roids was that my cat started speaking to me, and obviously that is a very positive side effect, so I of course was keen to get more blue juice. After a cheeky jackhammering shift, I paid the potion vendor a visit and got my stats back to where they were the last fight day, and on paper it looks good. 8 agility seems huge, but we all know how the last fight day went. But surely I would be able to defeat a 3 to all stats Hexor. I did indeed, while sticking with my conservative punch and block build. I then went straight in for the Underground Fight League.
It's Roy Jackson again. Roy Jackson's everywhere.
Roy's sheer strength had destroyed me 3 days ago, so I finally swapped out block for dodge, and the results were positive. I took less damage in round 1 and seemed to somehow use less energy too, but I wasn't dealing much damage. I stuck with the same skills in round 2, and look at all those dodges. I really should have started using dodge days ago. I knocked him down twice in round 3, but I was dealing such low damage to Big Roy that it didn't matter. And in round 4 he absolutely popped off, and made me kiss the cold cement floor of this dodgy warehouse. I still earned 2 skill points and $20, not too bad, but I also earned a brain concussion, which reduces the effectiveness of training. And so that confirmed it. With every ultimate fight loss, you do indeed get an injury for your trouble. I unlocked Way of the Tiger, which opened up the agility skill tree, beginning with the fast-paced tactic, which improves dodge and hit chance.
I can smell the mouse. He's been eating your Fruit Loops. How dare he? I don't eat Fruit Loops.
On day 25, in the middle of getting some rest in, I made a realization.
Yeah, I'm fighting Bill Spark. What are his stats? Oh, I can look at his stats before I even go?
And when I paid Casey at the cafe a visit, he told me I looked terrible, which was a bit rude because I'm pretty sure I looked how I always look. He recommended I visit the doctor in Chinatown to see about some medical help for my concussion. I headed there immediately, and Chinatown was looking rather lively. The doctor in question was a hunched over drunk, and he offered acupuncture to heal my injury, but it cost a whopping $70, so I decided to pass. But that of course meant I still had the concussion, and my training was still going to be ineffective. So instead of training, I worked some more to get ahead in my finances. I ate some pizza, bought some meat, and of course I chugged a blue potion. And I joined this fight with one less of each stat compared to what I had 3 days ago.
I think I can beat this guy though.
Based on round 1, maybe not. I just wasn't dealing much damage.
It's like my normal punches are pointless because they do like no damage.
And so for round 3, I finally got rid of punch and began using high kick.
Apparently I should be using my high kick because now I'm popping off. What the heck, man? Why was I not using my kick the whole time? I thought it would use too much energy. But I'm okay for energy-ish. Well, that rescued my fight. Holy crap.
After that fight, Roy invited me to come hang out at his place sometime. Unlike the Rookie League, I couldn't see who my Ultimate Fight opponent would be, so I strongly considered skipping it to avoid getting another injury. But, buoyed up by the success of my high kick, I decided to give it a crack. And who should be waiting for me but Raid Boss Roy, yet again.
No, he's got so much defense. He takes no damage.
Before round 3, I realized I'd forgotten to change my tactic over to fast-paced, but I was already down to 9 health by this point, so switching over wasn't enough to salvage the fight. That made it official. Clearly Roy Jackson is unbeatable. Or perhaps I just had no idea what I was doing. I put a shift in delivering yummy Italian frisbees before paying a drunk Chinese man to stab me with needles, which magically cured my concussion. I got some rest and yet more work in on day 29 before hitting the gym to try and raise my stats back up to pre-concussion standards. And when my blue potion ran out, something new happened.
Magic is dangerous. Oh great, now I've got this for 5 days.
Finally, the negative side effect of steroids abuse caught up with me. I would get hungry and tired faster for the next 5 days.
From now on, I'm not using magic potions.
I managed to get my strength to 2 and my stamina to 4. And guess who my opponent was in the Rookie League? I did pretty well in round 1, and I was wondering how, considering I had worse stats than the last time I lost to the big fella. But in round 2, I was reminded that no one messes with Roy Jackson.
Well, this round is going rubbish. What is going on this round? What the heck?
Yeah, so I lost. My string of losses had slowly earned me the points needed for another skill, so I picked up Karate High Kick, a high damage version of the high kick I was already using. My string of losses had also demoralized me, so I said,
Just gonna work the next few days?
yes indeed, I skipped the ultimate fight because I didn't want to lose and get injured again, and I got to work, before returning home to find the briefcase flashing green once again. It took me to this biker camp, where I had my first outing as the Dark Fist.
Strange guy in tight shorts and a stupid mask is snooping around.
Apparently 1 or 2 dogs had been disappearing every night, and they planned to ambush the thieves and could use some help. But considering I was in somewhat bad shape, I bravely said, I am the Dark Fist, but I'm not ready right now, I'll come back later. I slept on day 32, and then worked like crazy until I had a juicy $184.
Go on, Apu. Give me all the meat.
I completely skipped day 33's fights and instead ate, slept some more, and watched some TV, because usually my mood was improved by training and fighting. But foregoing those things and just working had made me a little sad, I guess. Nothing some TV can't fix. And then I was back to delivering mozzarella wheels.
This is a balanced life, man. This is a balanced life that being represented right now.
As I continued to prioritize my finances, the blue potion debuff dropped off, and I was now finally fully fit. So on day 36, I hit the gym to work on all 3 stats a little. I'd skipped 2 Rookie League fights by this point, but I was still 9th in the league, and I figured it was time to get back in the ring, so I signed up for a fight 2 days hence.
Give me a small punching bag.
And I slapped the new small punching bag in my garage to get my agility up to 5. My stats had suffered from the daily loss during those several days without training, but I was terribly ranked in the league thanks to my knack for being a loser, so I was fighting a pretty weak Hexor yet again. I was also using Karate High Kick for the first time.
Nice. Oh, I got a 38 combo. What the heck?
I took the win fairly comfortably, and brimming with confidence, I boldly took the Ultimate Fight League on too.
It's always Roy Jackson, man. I don't think I can take Roy Jackson. I just always lose to Roy Jackson. Why did I take this fight again? I don't know why I thought it would be different, but it's always just Roy Jackson. And he's a beast.
It's said to this day that if you listen carefully, you can still hear me muttering fearfully about the tyranny of Roy Jackson. But in round 2, against all odds, the tide turned.
We can knock him out. Oh, that's pretty big. Come on. We got a chance here? Big dodges? Oh no. Big combos? Knock him over again. Big... Yes! Yes! Pulled it out of my butt. Beautiful. Alright, finally.
The Titan Roy Jackson was defeated. I avoided suffering an extremely annoying injury, and hope was rekindled in my fight towards becoming the champion. Now that I was rehabilitated from my dark days as a performance-enhancing drug user, I was adjusting to the fully natural life. Liver King would be proud. It also saved me $40 every 3 days, so that was nice. But it was of course a lot more work to keep my main stat trained up. And so I entered my fight against Bob Dredson with much worse stats than I used to have when I was on the juice. But I guess because I'd finally managed to figure out a good skill build, and because I'd unlocked some better skills like the karate high kick and the fast-paced tactic to improve my dodge and hit chance, the lower stats weren't a death sentence. It was a tight fight, especially when I ran low on energy and started suffering some knockdowns, but I was able to pull out a victory. That earned me a juicy 6 skill points, and I climbed my way to rank 6 in the rookie league.
Alright, what do we got in Way of the Tiger? I think I do this.
I headed to the biker camp and joined the ambush as the Dark Fist.
You hear noises and groaning surround the trailer park. It's one of the pigheads. Me need barking thing. I'm the Dark Fist, leave those dogs alone.
The Rain of Strike skill that I just unlocked makes opponents blocking 25% less effective, but it takes up an active skill slot, so it sadly sat there unused. And though I put out some good damage, this pighead idiot had a whopping 176 health, and one of his skills applied a debuff that made me use up energy faster. So I ran low in the second round and it was all over from there.
Well, that was embarrassing.
Fortunately, I lost a mere 6 health, and I promised I'd return to try and defeat the pighead weirdo once I was a little bit stronger.
I have 150% of my fights. How did that happen? I swear it shouldn't be that high. I should go to Roy's house, see what this is all about.
Roy was chillin', his car was in shambles, and his sister was here too. And for some reason, he was really keen for me to chat to his sister. So I did, and it wasn't awkward at all.
Nice to meet you too. Need to talk to Roy. Wings of Love, win Adrian's affection. It's gonna be more difficult than win your fights.
Roy told me that he reckons she liked me, and that she likes flowers. And don't we all? I suggested to Roy that we train together, and he was keen, but he wanted me to do a little work on his car for him in exchange. I aggressively whacked the engine with a sledgehammer, displaying my elite mechanical expertise.
How long do I need to whack the engine for, huh?
I once again asked Roy if he'd train with me, and this time he said I needed to chill. He insisted I sit and enjoy a beer with him. I did so, and at least this fed me, raised my mood, and rested me a little. After a good chilling session, I chatted to Roy's sister Adrian again, tactfully saying, "Roy told me you like flowers." It was true, she wanted flowers for her herbarium. I told her I'd help find some choice flowers, and immediately stole one from Roy's garden. She said she'd need 5 more like it from around the city. I chilled with Roy even more before asking to train again, and finally, enough car engine whacking and chilling had been done, so he agreed to join me in the gym. After a quick feed and snooze, I met him there. And having Roy with me to yell "don't stop" to inspire me makes training 15% more effective. Not bad. I trained well into day 44 before getting hungry, at which point I returned home to eat and train some more, securing 2 strength, 6 agility, and 3 stamina for fight day.
Who are we fighting, by the way? Gordon. Gordon is gonna smoke me. Look at him, he's a beast.
I accidentally had my block piercing skill active, which was useless because Big Gordon was a dodger, not a blocker. Also, he whipped out some absurd 30 damage combos on me. What a unit. He did run out of energy, but with that health pool and my misplay, it was all over in round 2.
Let's go to the bar.
I finally remembered street fights outside the bar were a thing. And even though I started this fight with abysmal health after that loss, I still demolished Bill Sparks because the silly bloke couldn't seem to land a hit on me.
Get smoked, Bill Spark. You suck, Bill Spark. I should have been doing these. These give me 3 points. 4 points is nice.
These street fights were indeed a great extra source of skill points, so I really should have been doing them earlier, but better late than never. I decided to skip the ultimate fight in the warehouse because I was too scared of losing and getting injured, and instead I did some hammering of Jack to kick off the regular grind of work, eat, sleep, and train. As fight day came back around, I'd managed to maintain my stats, but since I'd gone down the ladder in the rookie fight league, today's fight was no doubt going to be easier than Ferocious Gordon. This proved true as Bill Spark ran low on energy and I cleaned him up in round 2. This brought me back up to 6th in the league, which made me fear I'd have to fight Gordon again. I'd accrued 15 skill points, so I picked up a 4th active skill from the basic skills tree. I then headed back to the bar to fight some guy. I added Rain of Strikes as my 4th active skill so some guy's blocks would be less effective, but honestly, some guy put up a decent fight. It seemed to be a recurring theme that strength-based fighters were able to outlast me energy-wise. Some guy, for example, had an attack that applied a debuff, causing my attacks to use more energy, and he had a stand still skill that meant he sometimes chilled for a bit instead instead of attacking, which gave him a chance to regenerate energy, making sure he didn't get too gassed out. And so he did knock me down a couple of times, but it wasn't enough and I took the win. Another 4 skill points. I earned a cheeky $100, did the whole eat, sleep, blah 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 drill, except this time I was keen to push my agility higher than 6 if possible. If not for the mechanic where you get tired of using a particular piece of gym equipment, it would have been much easier. But alas, the developers must have thought allowing the player to slap the ball all day would be too overpowered. Thankfully, push-ups give you a bit of agility too, so I alternated between these two exercises for all of day 50 and day 51.
I am gonna make it. Yes. Alright, now we fight.
It was Bob Dredson, not Gordon, but I didn't think it would be an easy fight. It was indeed incredibly even. We had extremely similar energy levels, so whoever managed to snag the first knockdown would have a huge advantage. And sadly, that honor went to the Dredson.
This is bad because I'm just gonna get knocked over and again now.
That is precisely what happened, and in round 4 I took yet another loss in the Rookie League. You know what? Maybe I should not have made the difficulty hardcore. Day 52 was a big pizza delivery fest, and who can believe that stack of pizza boxes isn't falling off the back of my scooter. And look how crap Songmo's stats are. Just as well I had no trouble defeating the bloke, or that would have been truly shameful.
Yeah, I think I go from here to here and then park my agility at 8. I think that's probably what we do.
And so I picked up Wind Flow Dodge, which replaced my original dodge. It reduces the energy cost and makes its chance of success more agility dependent. I beat up some guy outside the bar again to claim some more skill points, and I was beginning to feel better about my skill build.
Yeah, everything seems to be coming together with my fast strikes and my dodging.
But I still held off entering any risky underground fights for now. I instead asked Casey about his special pizza, which he said is extra spicy. He asked me to deliver some, and suddenly I was in the sewers. A voice from below this manhole told me to leave the pizza, but I insisted they needed to pay, and they didn't appreciate that.
Scary noise.
Out of nowhere, I was in a fight with Bill, the teenage mutant ninja crocodile.
This guy's got huge stats. Alright, we'll try.
But things went better than I was expecting.
Bro, why am I smashing him so easily? My dodging is popping off. I'm dodging everything. Agility build. The agility build's finally working properly. I think my new dodge has like a higher % chance. He's only hit me once.
But he had a tanky stamina build, so he was absorbing my many strikes, and I eventually ran low on energy. The fight swung heavily in his favor as I struggled to finish him off, but I got there eventually.
Ooh, we take out Bill. 8 skill points.
Bill told me to return later, as his brother Mark would be keen to fight too.
Bro, we got enough for another skill point. That's glorious.
I wanted to get Don't Fall Down 2, which means the agility stat won't fall below 8, but I needed to get my agility up to 8 first, so I hung on to the points for now. I worked until I had over $200 and then filled up my fridge, before heading home to train my agility up. But this wasn't so easy. By the time my next fight day rolled around, I'd only managed to get halfway through level 7. So I attended my Rookie League fight, and my best bud Roy Jackson awaited me. He plagued me for so long earlier, but now I had his number. I was dodging up a storm and getting off quickfire combos, and I had an edge energy-wise too, so I took the win. I then headed straight for another street fight, but it wasn't just some guy this time, it was Klaus, and he had a pretty intimidating stamina build. Fortunately, his accuracy was rubbish, so I barely took any hits. I ran out of energy way quicker than him though, so the fight dragged on for the full 4 rounds without a KO, but I was granted the win on points.
It's hard to find any more opponents for you. You are the best amongst the bar fighters. Yes!
And so I was done with the street fights, which was disappointing actually because I was enjoying the bonus skill points. Tyler asked me to chat to his brother Mickey in the trailer park, as he had a neighbor problem he needed help with. I agreed I would, but first I was determined to get my agility up to 8 before the passage of days dropped it lower. Unfortunately, day 57 ended before I reached that milestone, undoing a fair bit of my work, and by then I was totally sick of working out, so I couldn't get there on day 58 either. I passed some time working and sleeping and returned ready for more ball slapping, and finally on day 59 I hit 8 agility.
Okay, so now we can lock it at 8. Boom.
Great news, as combating the daily decay is quite the balancing act. Doing all that training without going to the gym had taught me something. I needed more equipment in my garage, so I put in a good shift delivering dough circles until I had over $200, and I headed to the sporting goods store and bought a treadmill. I immediately used it to get my stamina back up to 3, and just in time because fight day was almost over.
Yeah, we can take Bill Spark. We can take Bill Spark. He's losing all his energy as well. The build is coming together. Come on, finish him over. Finish him. Yes, beautiful.
Bill Spark, more like Nil Spark of life because he's dead from my fists.
Now we're schmovin'. We are moving.
I picked up counterattack, a skill that means any dodged attack will deal 40% of the attacker's potential damage back to them. This seemed very strong.
I think it's time we go back to the ultimate fights. I haven't been here for a long time. I've got to fight Jürgen. This guy's got increased block from a couple of different things, so I'll keep my block penetration on. Otherwise, I would consider using the counterattack.
It was a tight fight. Usually, high stamina builds seem to struggle to hit me, but Jürgen was pretty accurate, and I ran out of energy first. After just the first round, I knew.
I'm dead. No, why did I do this? I'm gonna get an injury.
That is precisely what happened, as Jürgen was too much of a unit for me to handle. So working out legs was now less productive.
Apparently I have a broken leg, but I'm just walking around like an absolute beast.
With my training efficiency in the bin, I decided I would skip the next Rookie League fight and use the time to restock my fridge, and save up for some more home gym equipment. I watched this green bar fill up many times, and after missing the rookie fight on day 63, I decided to check what that did to my league ranking.
I gained a spot in my league without fighting. How the heck did that happen? Someone above me must have lost.
I finally saved up $270, which was enough to buy a Wing Chun, which trains primarily agility but gives a little stamina and strength too. All that time saving up money had ruined my mood, and my stats were of course looking pretty dodgy, so I skipped another Rookie League fight and instead watched TV to raise my spirits before spending some time training with my new toy, as my leg was now well and truly healed. But I was soon hungry, and my fridge was empty, so I finally decided to hit up Mick for the free food he promised 66 days ago. He delivered on his word, providing a decent feed, and I returned to train stamina, as now that my agility was fixed at a minimum of 8, I figured I should try and get my stamina up around the 4 or 5 mark. And I sort of explained this earlier, but to reiterate, I was happy leaving my strength low, because with my build, damage was dealt by highly accurate fast hits, where the damage boost from strength isn't as important. Also, higher strength means attacks cost more energy, which would obviously be bad for my build since I was attacking so quickly. Anyway, I got hungry again on the next day, so I scabbed another meal off Mick, and while there I realized there was a flower I could steal.
Found a flower for my lady friend. I forgot that I needed to do that, but that's very important stuff.
Later on day 68, I grew hungry yet again, so back to Mick's I went.
I help you for the last time. Okay, so I can only scam 3 meals from Mick. Still, that helped me out, you know.
When I returned home, I realized there was another flower for Adrian right there on my kitchen bench. I don't know how I missed that earlier. Day 69 rolled around, and after missing 2 rookie fights in a row, it was time to return to the ring. I'd secured 4 stamina, I activated my dodge counteract skill for the first time, and the fight against Dragon Ray commenced. He had a similar build to me, though he had higher strength, so he dealt a little more damage, but he also ran out of energy first. Also, you can see my new counterattack coming into play. Sometimes when I dodged, old mate did damage to himself. Very juicy. In fact, I think it was the accumulation of counterattack damage that ultimately secured me the win, because the energy trouble somehow switched in round 3 and I was the one falling over. But I was able to hang in there, just barely.
I don't even know what's going on. I need to slow down the speed of these fights because I'm confused. He had skip attacks. It didn't say he had skip attacks. That's how he got his energy back.
Since Mick's Soup Kitchen charity days were now over, it was time to fill my fridge again. And after catching some Zeds, it was back to training. Once my strength was at 2 and my stamina at 4, I went to visit Mickey at the caravan park. Mickey was having trouble with his neighbor Bobo, who had a bad habit of listening to loud music at all hours. I told him I'd sort it out.
Come on, Bobo. I gotcha.
I told Bobo to be more considerate of his neighbors, but he wasn't too keen on that advice, calling me
a great big sack of stupid.
And I think the large fella was correct, considering I was choosing to fight a man like him, wielding a baseball bat. And look at those stats.
I gotta hope I'm dodging a lot, and he has high damage moves, so if I dodge and he damages himself, I have a chance.
That was indeed my only chance.
He did 30 damage to me. Okay, when I dodged, he did 12 damage to himself. That helps. No, don't dodge, you idiot. Dodge!
Yeah, so the fairy tale victory against Big Bobo was not to be. He told me I was funny and weak. For some reason, I chose not to sign up for the Day 72 Rookie League fight, which was a mistake because even if you lose, you still get skill points, so I don't know what I was thinking. But after working and sleeping a bit, I was at a bit of a loss as to what to do. So I went and chilled with Roy. And then I realized I could ask him to spar. We did, and I'm proud to say that especially with the benefit of my new dodge counterattack, Roy being an unbeatable nuisance was a thing of the past.
Oh, I actually got experience for that. Okay, so this is how you can get skill points. Interesting.
This reminded me that I can pay to spar Silver at the gym, so I went to do that, but then I realized I only had $2. So I speed delivered some pizza and paid for a spar. Silver had a 555 stat build, which we all know is terrible because specialization is key, so I smashed him. He did 7 damage total in our 2-round spar.
Give me more points. 3 points. Not bad.
And so on day 73, I'd finally realized I had 2 extra ways to slowly earn skill points. Very good news.
Your chance to dodge is higher and more agility dependent, 100%.
I failed to sign up for the day 75 Rookie League fight too. Again, this was a goose decision, but at least I was keeping my fridge well stocked, I guess. On day 77, I investigated whether Roy was ready for another spar. He was, but he demanded I help whack his car engine for a bit first. Once he was satisfied, we sparred and I claimed my 2 skill points. I then randomly got teleported to Silver's gym.
Congrats on taking 3rd place in the Rookie League. What the heck? How did I get to 3rd place? I think I got another rank up while I didn't fight.
Silver told me he owed a lot of money to the local Don, and he asked me to throw a fight so he could win a bet. I told him absolutely not. He asked me if I'd at least chat to Mick about it. I did, telling Mick Silver was in deep with some gangster. Mick revealed Silver had been champion material back in the day, but he'd thrown one of his own fights and ruined his career. Mick then told me of the magical medallion my father had left me. The mysterious medallion awakens power in the one who wears it, and since ancient times there have always been people who protect it. 20 years prior, my father and his 3 friends, one of whom was Mick, had sworn to protect it. They called themselves the Punch Club.
I made the mistake of giving it to Silver, and it's your right to have it back.
Mick, I love you, mate. Appreciate those free meals. But why the hell would you give away my magical medallion, you silly goose? I told Silver to give my necklace back, but...
You see, I don't have it. I gave it to the Don to cover the debts I told you about.
Why does everyone love giving away my medallion? It's very rude.
We're getting involved with the Italian mafia.
I held off visiting the Don and instead got busy training. I just managed to get my stamina back up to 4 before the end of day 78, and then it was time to jump back in the ring because I'd finally decided to sign back up for the Rookie League. It was Big Gordon, a formidable foe, and he certainly had me in the first round, but he soon had severe energy problems, and by round 2 I was getting knockdowns willy-nilly.
Knock him down again this round? Yes. Gordon, you suck.
I only had 1 strength stat for this fight, and my energy was looking great, so I soon took the win. I earned a whopping 10 skill points.
I'm 2nd in the league, Mr. Kekuse.
This Mr. Kekuse appeared to be the final boss of the league, and he looked scary. I sparred with Silver to earn 3 more skill points, and I decided it was time to see if the Dark Fist was ready to take on the dog-stealing weirdo at the caravan park. I had him in the first 2 rounds, as he ran out of energy and my dodge counterattacks were working wonders. But the tables turned in round 3, when he somehow restored way more energy than me between rounds, and it was my turn to get knocked down 3 times in a row. It was certainly a better showing than my first attempt against the pig head, but I didn't quite claim the win. Embarrassing stuff for the Dark Fist. I did the car fixing and chilling song and dance to convince Roy to spar with me again, claiming my 2 skill points, which allowed me to unlock another skill. I picked up Rice Eater 2, increasing my agility training speed by a further 15%. Though looking back, I think this may have been a mistake, as I wasn't exactly training my agility much at this point. I did some work at the construction site, because I decided the extra stamina training would be helpful, and I began walking to Apu's with my $222, and this idiot tried to mug me. I decided to run away. I do have strong legs after all, and after sleeping through until day 81, I hit up Silver for another $20 spar, and then I figured I'd better go pay my respects to Vito Corleone on Cafe Street. The Don told me he had his own plans for the medallion, but if I participated in some big upcoming fight, perhaps I could win it back from him. But in order to get into that fight, I needed my professional multi-card first, and I wasn't sure how to get that.
I haven't even won the Rookie League, because I suck. Because I put it on hardcore for some reason, which was a terrible plan.
I'd skipped the rookie fight on day 81 because I was slated to fight Mr. Kekuse, and frankly, I was terrified of him. But I hoped getting my stamina all the way up to 5 would help. I managed to do so, and on day 84, it was time to have a crack at the old fella. He has a special low accuracy punch that steals 30% of your energy if it hits, and a perk that hugely reduces his energy consumption when he has low energy. He also has high stamina. Basically, this guy is the king of energy. As you can see, things were pretty even, and he even got to rather low energy, but he just refused to completely gas out because of his perk. But I wasn't so lucky, and the fight was sealed when he began knocking me down. But I did better against the rank 1 fighter than I'd been expecting, and I still received a generous 6 skill points despite the loss. I won a spar against Silver for another 3, and then against Roy for another 2, before putting in another shift jackhammering. On the way home, this thief idiot accosted me again, and I thought I'd teach him a lesson this time. But he had a decent build, and after a fairly even round 1, I began to wonder who was teaching who what.
This is gonna be dicey, actually. I might lose him. What the heck was that? He just gets a giant combo?
Yep, Huey is a bit of a legend. He's got the fighting chops to back up his thieving ways. And it turned out I was the one being taught a lesson, a maths lesson.
I lost half my money.
Half of 240 is 120. $120 stolen by Huey. Sad days. After a sleep and a feed, I got to training, maintaining my strength and stamina at 2 and 5 respectively, before heading to my rookie league fight against Dragon Ray. He was pretty easy as I laid the combos on thick. With the 7 skill points that win earned me, I picked up Cutthroat, a punch attack that debuffs the opponent, causing their skills to cost more energy for a short time. I got busy with my daily silver spar, and you can see my new energy cost debuff being repeatedly applied. Hopefully this will give me an energy edge in any future big fights. After claiming those 3 skill points, I of course claimed 2 more from Roy. And while my stats were still looking good before Entropy's arrival at the end of the day, I figured I might as well have another crack at Big Bobo. The big fella just really needs to turn his music down. The fight was off to an outrageously good start, as I managed to deal a ridiculous 120 damage in round 1. And though Bobo swings big, I seemed to be dodging effectively. He finally got a big hit on me in round 2, and while he was getting super low, I was completely tapped for energy, but somehow got off enough attacks to get him down to 1 health.
We can take out Bobo. Yes! I didn't think I could do Bobo, but we did it.
And so I successfully intimidated Bobo into turning off his music. And in a wild twist, it turned out the reason Bobo had the music so loud in the first place is because he's pretty deaf. He asked me to help him find a hearing aid. Mickey gave me some energy mixes thanks for getting his large neighbor to shut up.
Up to 65%, you know, that's pretty good.
I hit up Casey about another special pizza delivery and found myself in the sewers once more, because I figured it was time to see if I could take on Bill's brother Mark.
Okay, he's got some serious stats. I think I'll lose this.
This crocodile was a tank wielding a big stick, so I suffered a rather unimpressive 2-round loss.
Oh well, it was worth a shot. It was worth a shot.
And when I returned home to have a feed, I found the energy potions Mickey had given me were in there. They restore an impressive 50 energy, so they were no doubt going to be useful for training. I sadly ran out of time trying to get my agility to 9, so I entered the fight against the great Mr. Kekuse with 1 strength, 8 agility, and 5 stamina. It was a fairly similar fight to my first attempt against the sensei. Early on, it looked respectable, but once his energy advantage started to kick in, it became clear there was no chance I would be able to chew through his superior health pool.
I think I'm gonna need some more skill level ups to even have a chance, honestly.
Speaking of, that loss had earned me 7 skill points, so I could afford to level up Demoralize.
Surely you just take a flat 20% damage reduction. That seems too good to ignore.
After eating pizza and killing some time so my health would regenerate a bit, I decided to fight in the ultimate fight for the first time in quite a while. This was of course a risk, because a loss would result in an injury, but I seemed to have Jurgen's number compared to our last fight on day 60. He ran out of energy rather quickly, and despite his tankiness, it was all over from there.
Yes. Yes. Only 2 skill points.
I earned another 2 from a spa victory over Roy before drinking an energy tonic and hitting the home gym. I have no idea why I wasn't consistently sparring Silver for extra skill points. I'm guessing I forgot because I am a goose. Also, I was at this point hyper-focused on reaching 9 agility. I was smashing down the stinky energy tonics and training like crazy with no time wasted sleeping. And on day 93, I entered the ring to take on Big Gordon. Gordon was a bit like Jurgen, a massive beast, but too slow and too quick to gas out. He could dish out big damage, but I dodged or counterattacked like crazy, and soon I was knocking him down willy-nilly.
Get some, Gordon.
Get some, Gordon, get some, Gordon. Yes.
Okay, victory, victory, victory. Good.
9 skill points for that win, and 3 more for finally remembering I could pay Silver to spar. Another 2 for sparring Roy again, and suddenly I was back up to 19 skill points. I worked through till day 94 and sparred Silver again, and with that I was able to afford Flip Kick, a high damage, low energy cost skill. I continued chugging herbal potions and training up a storm, all the way through day 95, which maintained my stats, and I was soon back in the ring with Gordon again. I'd thought since I'd clawed my way back up to 2nd in the rookie league, I'd be up against Mr. Kekuse again. But I'll take a victory against Gordon any day of the week, because who can argue with a juicy 8 skill points reward? I of course claimed another 3 from Silver, another 2 from Roy, you know the drill, and then I finally decided it was time the Dark Fist prowled the night again, and hopefully this time he doesn't embarrass himself. Attempt number 3 against the dog thief Pighead looked positive, especially as I managed to get a knockdown in the first round. But even with follow-up knockdowns in both rounds 2 and 3, the big fella just had so much health, and when he managed to get a hit on me, he dealt fat damage. By the time the 4th round rolled around, things had dragged on so long that it was my turn to gas out.
I'm out of energy. No way. Come on, he's so low. Don't. Unbelievable.
I consoled myself by delivering a great many pizzas to the hungry citizens of Punchville. And then I remembered I was supposed to be looking for a hearing aid for Big Bobo. I asked Apu, but he couldn't help. So I asked the dude at the sporting goods store, and it turned out he'd just replaced his hearing aid, so he agreed to give me his old one. I also randomly confronted the dodgy potion dealer about the side effects of his blue juice. He told me he'd warned me, which is true, and then he raised his prices from $40 to $80. Just as well I'm fully natural now. Those are some exorbitant prices. I gave Bobo his hearing aid, made.
He looks as happy as a child. I hope he stops shouting now.
Big Bobo offered me a job as thanks, and I said,
I'm sure it's all illegal stuff, but who cares? The mobster. I'm a part of Bobo's gang.
and so I now had a job collecting money for Bobo. This can be done every 3 days and earns a juicy $100 without using up any time or energy at all. The fruits of criminal activities are incredible. I had an extremely full fridge, including energy drinks, which I bought for the first time, so I got busy training once again without the need to sleep. On day 99, I jumped into my rookie league fight and
Got Gordon again.
that made triple Gordon. And again, I won't complain because I took the win in pretty much identical fashion and earned another 9 skill points for my efforts. This allowed me to pick up Kick Dropper, which increases the damage of all leg-based strikes. I farmed some more skill points using the regular methods, and then I headed to take on Pighead McGee once again. I was off to a bit of a cracker of a start, as I whipped out quite a few impressive combos.
It's a good start, but I've got such low energy too.
But after a knockdown in round 2, I'd still barely taken any damage, and it was looking doable. There was hope in the air.
Surely this is it. Good dodges. Surely this is it. Surely this is it. He might get the knockdown on me first. Okay. Finally! The pig mask man is dead! The Dark Fist finally did something.
Mickey asked me how he could call for my help if the robbers ever came back, so I told him to use the searchlight on top of a skyscraper in town.
Turn it on, I will know that someone needs my help. Yes, indeed, Batman.
I checked in with Bobo to see if I could go collect his protection money again, but he said we had to wait a couple of days. We aren't crooks, after all. I also checked the Rookie League match schedule and saw that I was finally up against Mr. Kekuse in 3 days' time, so there was nothing to do but train. So after a quick spar with Silver on day 100, that's exactly what I did. And so concluded my first 100 days of Punch Club, but I still have a lot of work to do. So keep your eyes peeled for the 200 days video coming very soon. Check out my Graveyard Keeper playthrough. It's made by the same devs as Punch Club, but it's even more outrageous and hilarious.